Their dream of unexplored lands with untold treasures urged them to cross the vast Atlantic. A new paradise awaited them, as did new dangers and pitfalls. The land was occupied, and the residents were loath to give it up to the interlopers. What followed was years of bloody war, as the newcomers fought to control the land they thought was rightfully theirs. This is the land's history. Will you change it?
Hello and welcome to my Let's Play of American Conquest. In the first episode of this Let's Play, we will tackle the first campaign, the Spaniards campaign, called Columbus's Voyages, from 1492 to 1502. The campaign deals with Columbus's voyages and exploration of new lands. Let's see. The first mission is called the New World. You are Columbus. After a long voyage, you and your expeditionary troops land on the shore of the New World. Your primary task is to settle in this new land and create 35 peasants. So let's listen to the narrator.
On the 3rd of August, 1492, an expedition of 3 ships left the port of Palos, fully equipped to search for a seaway to India. The expedition was led by Christopher Columbus, a man destined to go down in history as the discoverer of a continent previously unknown to the Europeans. The most striking fact of his voyage, however, is that Columbus was not actually seeking to discover new lands. He was looking for a sea route to the distant country of India, a land whose fabulous riches had been the subject of many a myth, which had kindled the fire of greed in the eyes of all men, regardless of whether or not they had previously been prone to avarice. It was from India that Columbus was to bring his patrons much gold, silver, spice, and slaves to repay them 100-fold for the expenses of the voyage. Much was invested into the expedition. Spanish Queen Isabella even had to pawn her diamond crown to cover the cost of the venture. The Spaniards had one major rival, King John II of Portugal, who was well aware of the impracticability of the plan Columbus had made. He knew the Spanish squadron would never reach India, but he was equally sure that the Genoese would discover hitherto unexplored lands in the west, and that these lands would for some time draw the court's attention away from searching for a route to India, which would buy him some time in the race for fabulous riches from overseas. Before turning to the Spanish crown, Columbus had already sought support from the Portuguese and been rejected. The fact was that the Portuguese king had already heard of America's existence, which had been testified to in numerous records of travels and explorations, and of possible new lands in the western region of the Atlantic as early as 1470. Some parts of America's Atlantic coast were marked on maps which a Portuguese navigator had compiled in 1452. After 1452, a large number of royal patents were issued to captains for some unknown islands in the Atlantic, authorizing them to seek out these lands and settle there. The Spanish crown was disturbed by the Portuguese behavior. From 1488 to 1495, Spanish spies in Lisbon were constantly sending reports to their rulers about Portuguese vessels secretly sailing off to the west. It was time to act. On the 12th of August, 1492, a fair wind carried Columbus's squadron out of the harbor, and he set a course for the American coast. On October 11th, he approached one of the isles in the Bahamian archipelago. Christopher Columbus raised the Spanish flag and declared the island to be located at the gates of India and the property of their royal majesties Isabella and Ferdinand. The details of the conquest were taken down by the expedition's notary, Rodrigo de Escobedo, in a document that declared the native islanders to be Castilian subjects. Columbus's ships then began to explore the shores of the New World, unaware of the dangers awaiting them at every turn. At Christmas, the flagship Santa Maria was wrecked on a coral reef. The explorers decided to set up a colony on the nearest island. On January the 4th, Columbus left 38 people behind with a stock of weapons and food in the new colony they had named Navidad, Christmas, and set sail for Spain. On March the 4th, the explorers stood before King John II, who welcomed Columbus with open arms and affirmed his own rights to the New World. King John later offered to discuss the rights to the newly discovered lands, and a treaty was drawn up in 1494, whereby the demarcation line was to follow the meridian 370 leagues west of the Cape Verde Islands. According to the agreement, Brazil went to Portugal. Pope Alexander VI divided the whole New World and its countries, discovered or not, between two monarchs, two states actively patronized by the Roman Church, Spain and Portugal. Now it's high time other European states laid claim to the New World and stood up for their rights with the power of their guns. The division of the world continues.
Man, I love the narrations in this game. It's like a history book. Anyway, so this first mission, or these first missions, the Columbus's Voyages, they act as a tutorial of sorts. They're pretty easy. This first mission, Columbus, you and your expeditionary troops have landed on newly discovered territory. The first thing you should do is construct a camp and replenish your food supply. Create 35 more peasants. As the peasants are created in dwellings, you must build a fort with your existing peasants first, then construct a dwelling and order 35 more peasants. Press F1 to review the mission objectives. Yeah, see, so it's very easy. It just teaches you about constructions and combat and such. So yeah, I think we can make some formations here with these troops. So yeah, let them guard this place. Oh dear, they're shooting at us. You know what? Let's actually go inside with these guys. It will be better, easier to defend. Okay, let's build a dwelling before our peasants are destroyed. Yeah, constructed your first dwelling, level 1. Now create 35 peasants. Cool. Let's build another one. And build more peasants. Yeah, finally, they're dying. They're very unfriendly to the new visitors. Okay, let's build some here. Actually, let's not build any, and let's just go inside so the peasants could shoot some of these guys. General note, in American Conquest, it is very useful to order the production of a large number of units by toggling the... Yeah, I know how to do that. Let's build a farm. I would want to build it here because there's fewer trees, but I guess I'll have to build it here because it's quite unsafe in this area. You need 25 more peasants. Yeah, let's build a storehouse and chop some wood. Okay. Now we can start building peasants here and take some of these guys and put them here, because this building can always shoot without any disruptions, because your peasants or infantry and whatnot can only shoot from the buildings if there's no production going on. So this building cannot shoot because I'm building peasants here. But this one, on the other hand, I cannot build anything here, so they will constantly shoot stuff. Congratulations, you did it! Remember, peasants are needed to construct buildings, gather resources, be trained into soldiers in the forts. Oh, that was easy. Didn't even get a chance to farm. Okay, and see you in the next episode.